This is 4.8, analyzing the graphs of polynomial functions. This is video number 1, and we're going to work on graphing each function. So for number 1, I want to graph the function f of x equals 1/6 times x plus 3 times x minus 2 squared. All right, so these are the x-intercepts. So since x plus 3 is in parentheses, that means we take the opposite. It'll be a minus 3, so I do put a x-intercept there. And then I have an x-intercept here. When it says x minus 2, we actually put one at positive 2. And this means it also has another one at positive 2, which means it's not going to cross the axis at 2. It'll bounce off and either come down and hit it and go up, or up and hit it like that. And we just don't know which direction it's going in. Now, we know this is a cubic function because I have one x here, and then this is squared, so I have two x's here. So a total of 3. My power would be 3. So that means I have the parent function of y equals x cubed. Okay? Now, we need to find points to plot. I can plot these two just by looking at the equation. Now, we could try using our parent function and getting points, but the easiest thing for these, since it is in intercept form, is to type in the function. So 1/6 x plus 3 x minus 2 squared, and getting a table. All right, so it looks like the -5, -16.3 is going to be off the graph. Here, I'm going to move this over here for a second. So when I write my table, so I have a -5, -16.3. Obviously, that's off my graph. -4, -6, -3, 0, which we already plotted because that was an intercept. -2, 2.7, -1, 3, 0, 2, 1, and then it's 0.7, 2, 0, which we already plotted, 3, 1, and I need to scroll down because I'm not off my graph yet. 4, and then it'd be 4.7, and then 5, 12 is off my graph. And if I keep going down, I'll see that I'm just getting bigger and bigger y values. That's a lot of points we can fit on this graph. So these are not from the parent function. So these all start at 0, 0. -5, -16 just tells me I'm way off the graph down low there. So that's off the graph. Can't even put that point on there. -4, -6. -3, 0 we already have, so we know our graph is coming up and it's going to cross the axis there. -2 and then 2.7 is about right there. -1, whoops, sorry, -1, 3, 0, 2, 1 and then 0.7, 2, 0, which we already have, 3, 1, 4 and then 4.7, and then 5, 12 is up off the graph there. All right, so that one I can't actually plot. You can kind of see the shape of the graph right now. So if I were to graph this, I know I start down off the graph and it's going to go through, and we know at 2 it cannot cross because that was an even power. It's going to look something like this. So if I push graph now, because I already had it entered, let's check and see if it looks the same. Looks good to me. All right, so let's go on to number 2. So number 2, again, it's giving us the x-intercepts. So we can plot those. If this is a +2, I'm going to have an x-intercept at -2. So when I'm writing my points, I already know I'm going to have a -2, 0. Then this is a +1, which means at -1, I have an intercept, so -1 also is at 0. I guarantee you the graph does not go straight across here. So it might be good to look at the graph in the calculator to see how it's curving here somehow. Maybe it curves really skinny. Maybe it's just a bump, but it is not flat going across those. The last intercept is an x minus 3, so it's going to be at a positive 3. So I don't know what's happening at 0, 1, 2, but I know at 3 I'm at 0. All right, so let's plug it in our calculator. So it's 1/4 x plus 2, x plus 1, x minus 3. And I'm going to get the table. Oops, so I need to scroll back up. All right, went a little far. All right, so I'll move it over here. So it looks to me like I'm off the graph at -4. I'm off at -10.5. -3, I'm at -3. I already have those 2 points, but at 0, I'm at -1.5. At 1, I'm at -3. 2, I'm at -3. And we got to keep going till we're off our graph. So 4, I'm at 7.5. And then 5, I'm at 21, which will be off my graph. And if I keep going, it just keeps going higher or farther off my graph. Okay, so if I plot from 0, 0, go -4 down, I'm obviously off the graph down there. -3, -3. So I know I'm coming up like this. Don't quite know what's happening there, so I'm going to hold off. At 0, I'm at -1.5. At 1, I'm at -3. At 2, I'm also at -3. And again, that's not going straight across there. I already have 3, 0 plotted. At 4, I'm up at 7.5. 521 is off my graph positively way up there, okay? All right, so before I connect, I need to see, I know I'm coming down here because that's the way this is going. I'm going to go up right here. I'm going to go down there, but I'm not quite sure how far because these were single units and not any partial units. So let's look at the graph. It barely curves past both of those, okay? Your curve could be much tighter and taller, but we know it barely curves. And I follow till I'm off the graph. And that did match, just following my points. All right, so go to your practice and do problems 7 through 10, 15, and 16.